Oh,
Live. Welcome to the King Connections podcast. I'm your host, King, and I'm joined by my guest today, uh, spiritual entrepreneur and impact investor, Nadav Wilf. How you doing today, Nadav?
I am doing great. It's a rainy day in sunny San Diego, but luckily I ordered a new sweatshirt. It's that new sweatshirt feeling, so I feel nice and cozy. I'm feeling good. Wow.
Excellent, excellent. I always heard that it didn't really rain that much in Southern California, so I guess it's not a true
It
statement, huh?
doesn't, but yeah, it's not bad when it does. But yeah, people are always saying, "Oh, you're in San Diego. I'm so jealous right now." I mean, well, it's not snowing and freezing, but it is a little cool. So yeah.
I know how that could be. I look at every day above ground and that I can see, hear, and think and talk and breathe and have sound mind a blessing. So I'm grateful for them all.
Yeah, it's I agree. I agree.
Well, before we get started, one of the questions I always like to get started with is to ask my guests, what's your spiritual energy number, ranging from zero being life sucks to 10 being life is awesome? Where would you say you fall into that spectrum right
I think like a nine, 9.5. So like 9.2
now?
right
Excellent,
now.
excellent. Excellent. Thank you
Mhm.
for indulging me with that. The reason I asked that question is I'm a firm believer, like Einstein says, that energy is everything and everything is energy. And when I do my podcast shows, my events, my meetings, I always ask that question because if people say I'm a two, three, or anything less than five, I know that's not going to be a great meeting or a great show. They're going to
Yeah.
not be engaged. They're going to be not, not be present. So thank you for indulging me with that question.
Yeah. We actually ask that in every meeting. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? And so people know, like, if they're not feeling as good, they can get that support from team members. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your investment of time and joining me today. So let's kind of get into the interview. Um, my favorite question always to begin with to get understanding of who I'm talking to and who I'm connecting with is, what do you see as your purpose in life?
Yeah. Originally, when I kind of really got into purpose, it was generating self realization. Now I know the way I express it is democratizing emotional intelligence, or emotional intelligence for all. So creating a world where emotional intelligence just thrives, and we know ourselves, we know each other, we have the right balance of feeling maybe feelings we don't want, but the majority of the time feeling how we want to feel and being able to process in that way.
Mm, mm. Excellent, excellent. Now, my next question is, this term conscious leader get thrown around quite a bit. And I've learned that different people, depending on who the leader is, has a different understanding and different definition. So I always like to ask, the individual I'm talking to, how do you define being a conscious leader?
Being a conscious leader, let's start with the result. You know you're a conscious leader if people feel empowered. The people that you're leading, if they feel empowered, if they're making choices and dealing with the failures and the successes, and people are enjoying themselves, and you're creating other leaders. So I think from a result standpoint, that would be the result of a conscious leader. Additionally, I think a conscious leader would be someone who really knows themselves. And if you know yourself and you learn to understand what you're great at, what you would need support in, and continuously get feedback and learn. Like we just launched our 360 evaluations. Now this is not, some thing we invented or groundbreaking thing, but that's an aspect of conscious leadership, right? Of like each person, myself included as CEO, being rated based on our values and some other criteria, and making that available for everyone, or everyone knows they can rate and feel safe in sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you for sharing. So, of all the things you've accomplished in your life, you experienced, and kind of where you are right now, what would you say you're most grateful for?
I'm most grateful for bringing my family closer. You know, if I was going to say that, kind of choose one thing, definitely my family was close, but not as close as I wanted us to be. And I really focused on bringing us closer together. And yeah, that part's felt great. You know, like bringing each person together, getting them to talk through things that were getting in the way, and it led to us doing family reunions again and having like a family group chat. And it's with all myself, my brothers, my parents, the nieces and nephews, and all of us together sharing like on a weekly basis. And it's actually, you know, a simple thing, but it's so beautiful having that actually. So I'm very grateful for my family and how close we are.
It's a beautiful answer. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, what are 3 behavior traits that you possess that you would say best describe who you are?
Oh, nice. Definitely being loving, like really being loving in what I do. And so that behavior around, for example, being lovingly direct. I think that's something people would appreciate about me, is that I'm lovingly direct. So I'm, you know, giving feedback or communicating in a way that's direct. And making people feel safe in that regard, because, you know, that honesty and trust, and trust makes people feel safe. So I think that's one thing. Definitely my sense of humor and that behavior of just like wanting to joke around and just enjoy and laugh and play. I think that's another one. And another behavior would be just being calm. People always tell me like, wow, you're just really calm. It feels very safe and soothing, and, you know, being accepting. I think it's being calm and accepting of people. That has people feel really safe and feel like they can be themselves and enjoy themselves. So, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, as we kind of shift now into your business, what inspired you to create Lifestyle Perfected?
It's part of my purpose, you know, emotional intelligence for all, and really getting people to understand that mindset is the core of everything. And I wanted to help people in power make a difference in their lives and for each other, in what they're doing in social impact. So I created it in a way to help them. I noticed that a lot of people know, a lot of people were like, you know, doing great things, but they didn't feel happy or, you know, safe within themselves, or, you know, they weren't feeling balanced, but they were doing great things in the world. So I wanted to help them balance that out. And that's why I created Lifestyle Perfected, to create a framework of mindset and actions to be able to do that.
Interesting. Now, as a system engineer, I'm really big on methodologies and things of that nature. So I'm curious, is there a methodology? And so, if so, what is the methodology behind the framework of Lifestyle Perfected?
Yeah. Well, the methodology is called Align, and it's really ancient wisdom. It's law of attraction, which is you attract the vibration that you're at, right? And so our cells, if you just go down to the cellular level, we're made up of atoms that have a nucleus with protons and electrons rotating around it and a certain vibration, right? And then it makes up cells and physical matter. So the feelings we have and what we're thinking are a combination of that vibration. So creating the vibration that we want is really what it's around. And then, realizing that there's the yin and the yang, the light and the dark, not the traditionally people might think, oh, like the darkness is the dark side or shadows. But I don't mean it that way. I mean, just the two contrasting aspects. Another way to say it is undesired and desired feelings and thoughts. And so I wanted to make a really easy way for people to be able to identify their mindset, understand that, and make a shift. And so when I started coaching, I wanted people to be able to visualize what they were thinking and saying. And so I put it in a spreadsheet for them. We built a software out of it. And the focus is on one is speed to awareness, like how fast can you be aware of the feelings and thoughts you're having? And that awareness is visual. And then how fast can you be aware of what you want and how fast can you achieve it? And that's the focus basically and what we've been doing. And that's the methodology. And we've done something also, there's the aspect of the answers are within us. Right. And it helps us understand what those answers are and how to achieve them. Yeah.
Okay. But that sounds like something that's definitely necessary. I know as a person who is in the world of creating more conscious, just environment and making connections along people who are aligned with that vision, being able to connect to have a tool like that to keep things balanced is very important. And speaking of being balanced, why do you believe it's important to have a balanced life? And do you believe it's even possible to achieve?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think, look, it depends, right? It depends what you're into. If someone is like a professional athlete or, a championship, something like dancer or, whatever it might be, their life might not be as balanced, right? Their mind can still be balanced. They can still feel balance in their mind, but they're going to be really, really focused on one singular thing overall, right? And everything else is secondary. It's still important to get rest and to have good relationships and things like that, but ultimately they're going to be focused there. So that's that. But for us regular people, and I'm kind of saying that sarcastically, but for us that are kind of want that balance, it's eating from the delicious buffet of life. It's, getting to taste many different experiences, and we can have lots of different passions. I distinguish it as day-to-day passion and dream passion. Day-to-day is all the different things I love to do. And those can be different things. Like I love, really going for it during the week and resting on the weekend, right? I'm passionate about rest and I'm passionate about very focused getting things done. So to me, balance is about enjoyment. Somebody asked me, hey, how are you so balanced? You're like, you're rested, you're 40 years old, you're looking great, you're working out, you have businesses you love, you seem to have a great social life. You'll share when you're sad, you share when you're doing great. How are you so balanced? And I said, I love everything in my life equally. and that was really what came out. I was like, I love everything in my life equally. I love all the different parts of my life. And so I focused on having that. And so that's what balance is for me, is really doing all those different things that I love to do, and enjoy. And when you love and enjoy what you're doing, you don't have to really think about it as much, as you might otherwise if you did it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Deepak Chopra teaches that in his book, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, one of the laws is the law of detachment, and attach yourself from the outcome and just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. So it's kind of keeping in line with that is how I receive that. Now, my next question is, and this is an important one just from the context of people who are conscious leaders who have a higher purpose behind what they do, and they want to bring about a change in the world, or definitely have an impact in the world that's felt from a positive standpoint. Typically, you can't do that alone. It requires co-creating with others. And my question would be, what are your thoughts around co-creating with others to help you achieve your higher purpose?
Yeah. Well, John C. Maxwell, it's like when I first read my first book on leadership, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and John C. Maxwell says, nothing worth doing can be done alone. And I'm not big on absolutist statements, like I think that's kind of said to prove a point, because you can do a lot of stuff alone and it is worth doing. But at that point, it really resonated to me about asking for support and receiving is really key. Giving, a lot of times we give. It's easier to give, not as easy to receive, but receiving is giving. So when we ask for support and we allow someone to give to us, and we're receiving, that's giving the gift to them of giving, of receiving what they're giving. Because a lot of times, might be scared of offering kindness or offering something somebody won't appreciate it, right? Or you give someone a compliment and they're like, oh, no, and you're like, okay, you just swatted that down completely, right? So collaborating is wonderful. And for me, for example, I love, great design and UI UX work. However, that's not my skill set. So I love working with, great designers and people like that. Right. So, so for me, that's, creating stuff together. And also my TEDx talk was around, how to build community around, innovation and your passion and purpose. So it's like, putting out a purpose that other people resonate with and giving them an opportunity to collaborate and create it. And again, they might not be the entrepreneur, that CEO leader. They might be the designer, the person that's coding or doing sales or doing project management, but they want to be a part of it. And I think that's, a really important piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned earlier about you love all the different elements of your life, and that's what kind of gives you balance. So I'm curious, is there one thing that you do in your life, or maybe all of the things you do in your life, that brings you fulfillment?
Yeah. I think the balance part gives me a lot of fulfillment. It's very fulfilling to be balanced. And I'll go back to that just as an example. I was just in Miami at the Wonderland conference, the psychedelics conference, and I got just so fulfilled by seeing the pureness of heart and professionalism in this industry. So it was amazing, and then I could have kept going. I was going till Sunday. There was another party. I could have stayed in Miami longer, but Saturday morning, I decided to come home. And I was just so fulfilled by what I had from the conference, and then at 11 p.m. that Saturday, being in my home and having like a beautiful rested next day, Sunday, and being with family, friends, and things like that. So the balance part, I think, is very fulfilling. Having a massive transformative purpose, or joining someone's massive transformative purpose, like, for example, an example of massive transformative purpose is Tesla's MTP is around accelerating global transformation in electric transportation, something like that. Probably not exactly that, but their MTP was speeding up the movement to electric cars, not just for Tesla, but for all car companies. And you can see that if Tesla hadn't existed, all these other car companies wouldn't be coming out with these incredible electric cars, right? Both new companies and existing. And so Elon Musk saw that him creating this abundance of have the most valuable car company in the world, and I'm bringing everyone else with me. And so that's really fulfilling to be doing that. And I think contributing to people is quite fulfilling. The ability to contribute to others and empower others, make a difference. Like with Align, it's all about empowering people to understand themselves and be clear on what they want and how to get there. And additionally, allowing people to contribute to you. That's always really fulfilling as well, So yeah, those are things that I see as fulfilling.
Excellent. Now, we make anywhere from hundreds to thousands of decisions in our lifetime. Even in a given day, we make over 100 decisions. Is there one decision that you can point to that you would say has made the most significance and most meaning in your life?
Yeah, I can say that investing in myself, on my own development and personal development, I think that's something that's really important. When I was 30, I sold my businesses and I was having a great time. And I had this moment on my balcony, where I was like, I'm happy, but I'm not fulfilled and I want to find fulfillment. And so I started doing personal development, and I joined a personal development course. And from there, just started investing in myself. And, after about a year, I called my coach and I said, Nancy, thank you so much. Like, I can say that I'm finally happy with my life and I love myself and I'm happy with my life. And that was a big achievement. And in that moment, my life was challenging. I had a startup that wasn't quite working, but, I had the opportunity to be grateful for it and really make a difference with it. So, the moment I started, that moment where I really started investing in myself, was a beautiful time, of understanding and making that choice. And I did like thousands of hours of personal development, lots of different courses, coaching, plant medicine trips, in Peru, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know about that journey. You're right. It's definitely a wonderful journey. And I realized I've been on the journey for so long, I forgot who I was prior to the journey. But it's a good thing because I've discovered something new, or I love the new me in that context. And which leads is a great segue into my next question, because in my business, I'm a connector. I help strategic conscious leaders to build strategic alliances, to find individuals they can co-create with that's based on their alignment. And in order for me to build my connections, I realized I had to come up with a standard of characteristics that I'm looking for in each individual, because there's so many people out here vying for your attention, and time is the only resource we don't get back. So it's so valuable and important to me. And I came up with 8 key characteristics that I look for. Not that a person has to have all 8, but there's definitely two that are to me are deal breakers if they don't have those. Being a growth-minded individual is one, and also being a person that has a grateful spirit. To me, if a person has at least those two characteristics, I can begin to build with them. And so, with that being said, are there any kind of characteristics you look for when you're establishing connections with people?
Yeah. I mean, I think one, and this is also in romantic relationships, but I think they got to be hot. First of all, I'm kidding. Um, I think I like people who are passionate about things. And for anyone saying, "Well, I don't know what my purpose is or passion," you know what you love to do, and whether that's your job or not, you can do that, right? So if you love to bike ride or garden or help people, whatever it is you love to do, you can find a few hours in the week to do that. And that's what I really encourage you to do, right? Because that starts snowballing in a good way. Next thing you know, you're like, you have a garden, then you're like, cooking from that garden, and then you're opening more, and then you buy land, and then now you have like a farm. I mean, whatever it is, right?
Right.
So I love people that are passionate about stuff, and I love watching people and supporting people like in their flow, like crushing it, like they're amazing at sports or musician or dancers or, fire dancer. I mean, whatever it is, right? Or like someone who's incredible at coding or UI UX. Like I love that because I feel like a part of it. Like I'm also there, I'm in that energy. So that's really important to me. I love people who are really kind and really kind and committed and to just like being sweet. And then people like that then know how to joke around and roast people, right? Because there's like this part, right, King, like the better friends we are, the more I'm probably going to make fun of you. Because there's that love and it's fun. And some of my best friends, like my friend Josh Miles, we have this, we just love each other. We're brothers. We live together when we travel and stuff like that. And so it's just like, we just make fun of each other. And then it's like the jokes from before all come out, so like the past 3 or 4 running jokes plus the new one. And it's just so much fun. And so I like, for me as well, like I'm very self-deprecating, and I like people that are self-deprecating because then you can joke around with each other and have a good time. So so hot, into their passion, and kind and fun and funny.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the services I provide is, as I said before, helping these conscious leaders to identify strategic partners that they can co-create with. Because a lot of times, most people don't have a lot of time to go out here and make these connections, and then more importantly, vet or have any kind of systems in place to make sure that folks are not wasting their time. And with that being said, who would be a great strategic partner for you?
You with the line, I mean, are definitely like coaching companies that have lots of coaches are great strategic partners. Yeah, so like Better Up, companies like that, and big spiritual leaders. We're currently in collaboration with a really famous and big coach that's coming on the platform, and I think great partners are ones that you can help, right? You can help along and make a difference for. So,
absolutely. Now, I notice each time we've kind of engaged, we've spoken, you seem to be in a very positive state of mind.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, are there certain rituals you go through in the morning that helps you filter out all the negative noise the media and the news tries to permeate our brains with?
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that today because I have in the past, and then I got to a point where I kind of just felt so much better waking up that I don't really do that much for that in the morning. But I started thinking today, hey, what could I do maybe to, be a bit better, right? Because I'm overall at like an 8 out of 10 plus in the way I feel. Like today was a 9 when we asked in the company. But I think a few things. I mean, I think one is I'm saying on a broad scale, right? Because the details of what you do, there's lots of that out there. It's like do breath, do meditation, tantra, self-touch, like stuff like that. So that stuff you guys know. But one is just knowing, hey, we're eternal beings. We can never get it wrong, and it's never done, right? And so I think that's a big one, of just like, this is the long game, right? And I deserve to be happy, and I, love myself. So that self-love is another one. And then, when you're looking at social media, for example, I mean, I used to feel jealous and kind of, wow, I'm here doing this, and they're doing other big things, and just be happy for people. Be loving, be happy for people, and cheer them on. And it comes back around. It's not the reason to do it, but it's a reason. Just be happy and like cheer people on, and make a difference for them. And I think when you do that, you start having a different relationship to social media. Going to sleep, for example, like it starts when you go to sleep. So when I go to sleep, I think about, wow, you really did amazing today. You're a great person. You really did amazing today. You did amazing things. You really gave it your all. And so I do that. It's another aspect of what I'm doing. And that way I fall asleep and I get plenty of sleep. Like I fall asleep when I want to, basically. Whereas I used to think and, be worried and stuff. And then I think waking up, just for me, a big thing is setting meetings late enough in the morning that I don't need to wake up too early and be beholden to others. Right. And giving myself a little time. So I try not to do any meetings before 10 a.m. Because then I just like have the space, I have the time. And that makes a difference for me. Like I need some time to wake up, and like some time to wake up, so as much as I can, I give myself that space in the morning. And then all the other rituals, right? Like that everyone knows, meditating and, journaling and gratitude and things like that, I think are important. I was given some other, just kind of high level things.
No, I appreciate that. Absolutely. And like you, I don't schedule any meetings before 10 a.m. as well, for a variety of reasons. Mainly I have 2 puppies that I want to give my time to get
beautiful,
spend time with and get out there and get out of the way. And I don't want to be rushing to try to get to another meeting with someone. And like you said, I like to be present when I am in a meeting. I don't want to be thinking to myself, did I do this? Did I not do that? I want to be fully engaged and give 100% of my attention to that. Now, my last 2 questions are usually some of my favorite questions of the interview, even though I love all the questions, because it gives an opportunity to really get a chance to know you and my listening audience a chance to know you. Now, my next question, I'm really going to kind of set the context of it before I give you a chance to answer. And that is, the question is there a kin connection you would like to meet? And what I mean by that is, a kin connection is a term I refer to an individual. It's not based on my company name or me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but a person who you admire, who has achieved a level of success, whether it's personal, professional, financial, that, if you were to meet this individual, that if you are to co-create together, not as a fan, but as someone that you can actually co-create with, it would bring a massive impact in the world. And so, for example, mine would be Magic Johnson. And it's not because he's a basketball player. I actually I love him as a basketball player, but I was a Pistons fan. But it's more about his after basketball career, his community development work, his business work. He's a huge connector. A lot of other great sports people have met him and learned a lot of business and financial advice from him. And I just really believe that we met and we will meet one day, we can make a lot of great things happen. And the reason I ask this question is because I've developed a methodology that I believe that anyone who is accessible, especially people who you have alignment with, and I believe no matter how successful a person may be, if it's a person who's a conscious individual, they always open to meet someone else who they have alignment with, not a fan, but someone they have an alignment with. So with that being said, who would be a kin connection that you would like to meet?
There's a lot of people that I think are pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, going with that, I think Eckhart Tolle is amazing. So I would like to meet Eckhart Tolle. I think he's someone that's really really interesting and kind of otherworldly, but also here he wrote the Power of Now and A New Earth. So yeah, that's someone I'd like to meet.
Excellent. Yeah. And then my last question would be, and this question to me, I learn a lot about people, not from a judgment standpoint, but just about a person's personality and their ambitions and what their thoughts are. And that is there a book that you would recommend that you would say has been the most influential in your life that you would recommend to our listening audience to say, this is a book you should definitely read because this book has opened my eyes up, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. There's lots, right? So I'll just throw out, I think The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer is a great one. Yeah, it's a great one. So.
Okay. Excellent. That's out of, I would say, 100 interviews, that's the second time that's come up. I learned so much about great books from people because I never heard that book before. The previous person mentioned it, and it's on my list. And you just reminded me that I need to move it up because I believe when the universe does that, there's a reason for it and timing. And I've learned to let myself surrender to accepting the energy that's out there at that time. So as we bring this interview to a close, I definitely want to thank you for your investing the time and energy. And I want to give you an opportunity to share any closing thoughts you may have with our listening audience, as well as any contact information for those who want to learn more about the Lifestyle Perfected program you're doing and how to get in touch with you and build with you.
Thanks. Yeah. It's all about consistency, right? It's all about consistency and holding a vision or doing what you love to do. Sometimes you have a vision, but you're like, I don't really love to do what it's going to take to get it, or I love to do something, but I'm not sure what the vision is. So it's knowing, if you have either one of those, be consistent and going in day to day and continuing to take action, take inspired action, comfortable or uncomfortable action. That's what gets us to our goals. So, yeah. And if you want to get in touch with me, at Nadav Wilf on Instagram. That's the best way to do it.
Excellent. Well, Nadav, thank you again for your investment of time and energy, your wisdom you drop, and just for being honest, authentic, and at the same time informative with the answers you've given. And actually entertaining as well. So thank you for that. And I want to again thank our listening audience for listening to another episode of Kin Connections podcast. And until our next guest, I want to wish everyone a blessed and productive day. Thank you all.
Thanks.